What's going on, everybody? We're back, and always remember, you ain't black.
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.
Yeah, sir.
All right.
What's going on? What's going on?
Get it.
Okay, so today we got a really packed show, and there's a lot going on. We got to talk first off about how we know they're going to blame the bombing on some MAGA guy. All right.
Well, I mean, that's not a prediction, right? That's actually common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the bombing just happened right now.
No, but we got some other stuff. So check this out. Here's the rundown really quick. It's actually pretty cool, okay? Second off, you guys are going to talk about D.C. and Florida and what went on there and how crazy that was. Third, we're going to go over the BBC releasing how to talk to conspiracy theorists, a.k.a. Republicans, during the holidays. And then fourth, the stimulus. And then finally, my favorite segment is actually going to be covering Emmanuel Macron, president of France, comparing himself to 4 different Greek gods and forcing the imams to swear like an allegiance to French republicanism.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and whether or
know.
not Adam Schiff was actually just arrested in Los Angeles or not.
Oh, no.
There's arrest records, but we don't know what's going on here.
Man.
So
It's one of those things.
So first things first, this bombing. It's going to be a MAGA guy. You know they're going to say that.
Well, you know, I was just talking about it on live with people that I said, you know what? Happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. But there's a long track record of these people doing sneaky stuff during Christmas. And I told them, I said, you know what? With this year in 2020, everything going on, I felt like there's something that's going to happen during Christmas, that they're going to sneak something. Next thing I know, wake up in the morning, there's a bombing. I didn't think it was going to be like that. You know, but I thought it was gonna be some type of legislation like they usually do.
Right,
but it's crazy that during this year something had to happen during Christmas.
Yeah.
We can't at least end the year off
can't
on a
do
happy note, right? We can't do that.
You thought that was gonna happen?
That's not gonna happen. No, not whatsoever.
Nope.
And this was the weirdest thing from the very beginning because you hear there's that like emergency message that was getting broadcast beforehand. I mean, this to me had weirdo written all over it.
So when
When
I saw that, I thought to myself, the first thing I thought of was, okay, is there any type of drills that are going on? Because usually with all these things, when you see like any type of military drills or
dude, drills don't accidentally explode, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm thinking like,
Not
is there
in
any
the center of Nashville?
So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, is there any drills going on or whatnot? You actually look it up and you find out that the person that dropped off the RV, right? Somehow, some way, the police ended up finding out that there was a timer, right? It was actually informed. Actually gave the police time to evacuate the area. That's where the announcements were coming from. So that tells me right now, whoever did this, they didn't want casualties.
Well,
they
so
didn't want
Cody,
casualties.
Cody has to fill us in. He knows the latest. Like, so what is the latest real deal on this cat? Not on this cat, but like on what happened in Nashville.
I mean, honestly, all I could say for sure is something blew up. There's a person of interest that the name has been released. I mean, beyond that, honestly, you know what? I got a great question for you guys. Why did that guy go crazy and shoot those people in Las Vegas a couple of years ago?
Yeah, we still don't know.
FBI gave up, said it wasn't worth it. So, I mean, like, will we ever find out? I don't know. But I believe at the moment where we're at, a person of interest has been named. I think they have raided a home they think might be associated with them. That's all right.
Now, also, I love how you make that point because are we really going to believe the FBI? Are we really going to believe them in their
they'll just say
investigation?
whatever.
No,
I the same
hope
FBI
so.
that we've been seeing for the past 4 years.
I hope the quote rank and file can recover because dude, what you guys mentioned right now, the trust in the American institution is at an all-time low.
Come on.
Like the trust in the American institution, all American institutions are at an all-time low.
That's right.
There's a couple of churches that actually aren't and are doing okay. And I think somewhere somebody said like elementary school teachers are still like perceived like, one standard deviation higher or something. But
doing all right.
like by and large, nobody trusts anybody or anything anymore. And it's actually getting kind of bad. Yeah. But I definitely do have a concern about, you always feel it and you always notice it that there's going to be some kind of spin. And you were joking around earlier how, we've gotten all kinds of not cool, but all kinds of interesting details. Apparently a guy with the same name had an explosive ordinance permit from the state, something
Very
similar
convenient.
to like what, Hollywood guys here have to have a permit to be able to use pyrotechnics and so on and so forth. So they're obviously homing in on a guy, haven't been able to tell us a motive and so on and so forth. But it's going to start, like, this is the new thing. Like, you remember how like they were trying to justify so badly the Patriot Act those first 2 or 3 years after they passed the Patriot Act, that the news went out of its way in collaboration with the whole neoliberal establishment to go out of their way of saying, Well, and the men were heard saying Allahu Akbar before the explosion. We know we were right outlawing these things and these people.
Of course.
You know, for the next decade, it's going to be like, we're pretty sure we saw a red MAGA hat.
Yes,
we're
indeed.
pretty sure we saw one. You know what I'm saying?
It's for sure. I mean, come on now. There's going to be a MAGA hat. They said Donald Trump right before they exploded the thing. It's going to be something. It's going to be our fault.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. Get used to it.
You know, it's funny because we always seen those mass shootings, and the first thing they did was blame gun owners. That was always the blueprint. And now with this political season, I'm pretty sure they're going to find him. He's going to have, MAGA paraphernalia in his apartment. He's going to have a Trump flag. Might be a skinhead, right?
Yeah.
Might look at the bill. He might fit the part. Maybe a little bit of white supremacists in there. They might tinkle in there, but they're going to stick with MAGA. They're definitely going to stick with MAGA.
Dave Chappelle, and I think his original comedy spiel, Killing Him Softly, I think it was called, he totally joked and he said, like, you guys didn't believe they were beating up black people until Newsweek said it was true. Right. And he's like, didn't you find it suspicious that there was always a little bit of crack sprinkled on it? Just a little bit of crack.
That's it.
Well, now these guys are going to be calling in the feds and they're just going to be throwing MAGA hats. I'm like,
catch that.
It's going to be the wrong size. It won't even be the right size of the guy in the body they found.
So what I've been seeing,
there was a MAGA hat on him. We saw it.
Hey, I'm just saying.
So what I've seen now, it did hit an AT&T building, right? And so what's going on social media right now, again, because we're all conspiracy theorists until we're proven right? But they're talking about how if it hit the AT&T center and that there's actual connections between AT&T and the Dominion software. And so that's when it started getting kind of creepy. Is like, is it questionable to think that it was a hit, that it hit the AT&T tower on purpose for some type of reasoning? Is it wiping data, crazy, maybe? So people are going that far on social media, and it's like, hey, if it's true, then there's a whole. Obviously, they didn't want to hit people. Okay. They want to hit the AT&T building. So what did they want out of that explosion?
Boy.
So that's a good question.
That's crazy.
You are a conspiracy theorist.
Well, I was a conspiracy theorist when I used to say a certain person is a eugenicist that is pushing vaccines in 2020. I said it in 2010, and I was a conspiracy theorist back then. But he's trying to stick a needle in you, so whatever.
Oh, that's funny. Well, speaking of things that go bang, let's talk about those bang girls and the no, I'm totally kidding.
Let's go.
That seems to have been the topic.
This is a Christian show. This is a Christian show
about this
wholesome values.
Actually, I have never seen conservatives, like, sometimes I really, like, conservatives can be so annoying sometimes when I think a solid 50% of the memes and the commentary I saw on Twitter and on social media about this whole Turning Point USA event that you went to was focused on, like, this angry 1980s Christian mom rage over the fact that there were the Bang Energy girls throwing money out there in, like, leotards. And I was like, man, haven't you ever been to a Laker game?
I'm just
like,
saying.
y'all have season tickets to the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yes.
And these chicks are in, like, athletic gear. Like, it wasn't even, like, booty shorts. It was, like, athletic gear. And you're freaking out calling them strippers and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hold on. Really quickly, just to kind of catch people up a little bit, right? What we're talking about here is over last week or so, Turning Point USA, an event in Florida. And you actually, Stephen MAGA Hulk, were there speaking, correct?
Yeah.
Thought this would be kind of fun to go over with you a little bit.
Yeah, you're like a big deal now, dude.
I wanted to pull up this article.
A little bit, try to hold it down.
Pun intended.
Yeah, I want to go through this with you a little bit, though. So this is an article from Vanity Fair, and this is how they described it.
Here we go.
Vanity. We're going to talk with Vanity.
It says
we're going to go with Vanity.
They say cash cannons, election conspiracies, and thousands of maskless teens. A conservative youth orgy takes Florida.
A conservative youth orgy.
That's
you were just in a youth orgy, MAGA.
I'm wondering for someone who was at the event. And the subline was Turning Point USA Student Action Summit's turning into exactly the blowout event virologists feared, complete with a phone call from the president. So anyway, that's the Vanity Fair sum up. How was it from you, someone who was at the event? What did you think of it, Stephen?
First of all, it was not no youth conservative orgy. Okay, it was nothing type of foolishness like that. No, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. A bunch of conservative youth that were not participating in the orgy came together. You know what I'm saying? Let me just spell that myth, Vanity Fair. But we all came together and we had a great time listening to a bunch of great speakers, Tucker Carlson, Don Jr., There was just so many. Of course, Charlie Kirk, the president. Of course, he called in.
Yeah, that was epic.
That was freaking.
I saw that, and I felt the crowd literally just feel that energy from the computer, like my phone. Like I looked at it and I was like shaking. I was like, oh my gosh,
whoa,
yeah.
whoa!
How was that feeling?
It was amazing. The crowd blew up. Okay, blew up. It was fantastic.
That's crazy.
Mike Pence spoke. That was another amazing moment. I mean, almost after every sentence he said, it was just people were going crazy.
So can you tell me what the truth about being let in or not in was? Because I heard stuff about how like West Palm Beach City Council was trying to shut down the event, tried to keep half the people in. There's a bunch of people chanting, let us in. So what was the real deal?
Well, basically, the city council came down. They had shut down, made them close, made the convention center close the doors. Left, it was over 1,000 kids out there that left them out. They weren't able to come in. They flew all the way from different places in the state. I mean, in the country, flew all the way out to West Palm Beach, Florida, to enjoy this event. They get to the event and they can't even get inside because the city council shuts the doors on them.
Now, I'm guessing that's a liberal, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's liberal. Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
So we went out there, the TPUSA, different staff, and yours truly. And
I saw my boy lifting people up. I saw it. I was like, "What's going on over here?" He was getting his reps in. He was getting his reps in even at the Turning Point US.
Man. I'm a very uplifting man. You understand what I'm saying? But it was amazing. Like, we still went out there and we had a good time. They tried to do whatever they could to shut us down. And it was sickening. It was sad. But we had a wonderful time. There was a bunch of conservative kids. And that's what really uplifted me, is that there's a lot within the conservative movement. There's still a conservative movement. There's still a MAGA movement within the conservative movement.
Exactly.
And MAGA won't die. I don't care what anyone says. MAGA will not die. It will live in infamy. It will continue.
I mean, even once when Trump gets out and he finishes his second term, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if another Trump doesn't get in, these people that have been part of this movement, they're not going away. They're not going to sit there and cast their votes on somebody to waste their votes. I mean, sooner or later, someone will come up and continue the work. You know what I mean? But we're still going to be here. We're still going to be here. It's not like we're going away. You woke up to sleeping giant. You woke up to sleeping giant.
Exactly.
We can't go back to sleep now.
It's a train. Now the train is going, and I'm sorry, you will not derail this train, and you will not stop this train. You won't even slow it down. We have too much momentum at this point, and we're going to keep charging forward to the future.
Okay, but into what? Because I'm really curious. Cody and I actually did a lot with the Yang Gang, and it's really interesting. Andrew Yang was the first modern proponent of UBI. I'm a big UBI advocate, so on and so forth. And the perpetuity post him dropping out of the presidency of the still kind of remained cohesiveness of the Yang Gang. And it's kind of a cool thing, but they're floundering and there's nowhere to go. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Right now, there definitely is some floundering and nowhere to go. I look at the whole MAGA movement, right? And it is intrinsically tied to President Donald Trump.
Yes.
Who, let's just say, even if he does pull it off, gets another 4 years, or doesn't pull it off, he couldn't run again after another 8 years.
Exactly.
He's only going to live so long, with or without a second term. And America rejects political dynasties. We didn't really choose Jeb Bush. The Kennedy family's kind of dissolved, even though there's still that many Kennedys floating around the Congress, the Senate here and there.
They just lost their first primary.
And so on and so forth. So it's like, I look at this, and when you say things like, oh, it's a train that's never going to stop, I look at it and I think, well, really? Because we have a precedent of insanely popular political figures and their movements dying within months of them going away.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, it's going to have to roll into something else. You know what I'm saying? It's going to have to roll into something else. And what I hope it is an increased political awareness of how our individual liberties as Americans have been eroded and how our values and our priorities have been overtaken by these corporatist ruling class people. You know what I'm saying? That the forgotten man and woman, which is what Donald Trump basically won on, actually has inherent value when it comes together and is energized. So I don't know what it could be. like what marketing slogan is as good as MAGA that can take over that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm hoping that's what survives. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you 110% on that.
Well, I've just one big thing. Sorry, question I want to ask you guys really quickly. Something I saw a lot commentary. This event was 2 weekends ago now, so a little bit. One of the people were saying, I don't want. Some people were big, prominent Trump supporters were saying the president's fighting for his life. And people are down in Florida enjoying it. But I have a question. There's a picture you have in your Instagram I'm showing, which is you shaking hands with the president's son, who was smiling and appeared to have been a good time.
Yes, sir.
That was a big question I have. From where you guys have been. With everything going on in the election right now.
There, brother.
DTJ?
What has it been like going to these? Yeah, there we go, right there. Again, though, some conservatives are saying, "Oh, Trump's fighting for its life." It's like, well, his own son is here having fun. So apparently, that's not what the Trump family feels.
Right.
But my large question is just being there, both you guys. You'll be in DC again soon. What is the kind of morale of the people showing up to these events? Like, what is the tenor and the mood? I wonder, because it looks like people are having fun and enjoying it. This wasn't a funeral, so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just wondering kind of what that's been like.
It's been, I mean, the excitement is palpable, right? It's in the air. It's electric. I've seen like the young conservatives I've been talking to, the people at the SAS, they are excited about the MAGA movement. They are really excited. The morale is high. It's really high. So I don't think that they're feeling any type of down. They're not feeling downtrodden or anything like that. The morale is
which is interesting to me. And then as well, just to kind of follow up on that, how many people? I'm wondering, just being there and gathering this, how many people are on like the sense of Biden will be inaugurated, but it's okay? How many people are like Trump just will be inaugurated? It doesn't matter.
Right.
And how many people are kind of like in the middle trying to figure it out? Just ballpark. I'm just wondering what the kind of mood is. If you can.
I think that I noticed at that event, most of, and it was really interesting. Most of them were like, Trump's going to be inaugurated. You know what I'm saying? It's going to get that second term. And it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be all good. I guess somewhat the minority would be, we don't know. But there's no people like, Biden's gonna, and we're just gonna deal with it. There was no people like that. None. It was kind of interesting. And like I said, the morale was so high. I wasn't expecting that. I kind of was under the impression that they were just like, we don't, it's 50-50, it's a toss up. I don't know. No, they're gung ho.
Yeah.
They are gung ho. President Trump, 4 more years. Like, that's it. That's all they know. So I love it. I love that type of morale.
Well, I get the gung ho-ness, but also like, what's your sense on the ground of what evidence do they have that there's actually that it's actually going to happen and they're going to be able to pull it off?
As far as the evidence?
Yeah, because right now, I mean,
who's going to pull off what? You mean Trump getting back in or them actually stealing this election?
Yeah, I mean, there's still, it's kind of, it's interesting. Being a religious person, at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have these things called the Articles of Faith, and as a young kid in primary, you learn how to rehearse them that, like, we believe in, a God, the eternal Father, and his Son, Jesus Christ, and in the Holy Ghost is like the first one, right? And, just like you say the Pledge of Allegiance at school, before Sunday school, we try and rehearse one of these, little articles of faith. It seems like right now, an article of faith amongst like MAGA supporters is like, he's going to get that second term.
Yeah.
He's going to get that second term. Yeah, I mean, I'm watching the news and it's like, okay, like 15 out of 16 lawsuits have failed. And sure, many of them are by politically motivated judges and so on and so forth. But they're the ones that make the call and they're the ones that actually choose. So from where I'm standing here, I've learned to stop underestimating this man, Donald Trump.
Right.
So it's not like I'm a disbeliever,
Right.
but at the same token, it's like, I can't recite this new article of faith of like, 4 more years, 4 more years, because I'm like, based on what? So when you say there still is this fervor of 4 more years, like what? Like, based on what are these people thinking that there's going to be another 4 more years?
To be honest, if I'm going to be completely real, I will have to say it is based on faith. I will have to say that. A lot of the arguments that they brought up were things that were already discussed that we already all know. I mean, we know that there was some cheating done. Now, can it be proven? As you said, it's been brought upon the courts. It's failed many times. Time and time again. So what other card do you have left in the back pocket? I don't know, but they just believe that it will happen.
Okay.
The evidence is
know
not
what?
there. The evidence is scanty, but this is what they believe.
Okay,
You know
cool.
what, from what I'm getting, and it's kind of scary what I'm getting because we all want another 4 years, and we all know that there was election fraud.
Yeah.
All right, it's just out in the open.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the president of the United States pulling up charts in front of the White House, in front of God and country, talking about look at the spikes at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
right here. You know, like
Yeah.
so. But you know, with everything that's going on right now, I'm getting a lot of, like you said, faith that Trump has it in the bag. You know, he is the president of the United States. He does know information that we're not prevalent to, and he seems calm, right? But I'm also getting that if Biden does win, people are going to be very upset, and not because of not because of the electoral process and the loss of faith that it gives us for future votes, right? Future elections. But I'd hate to say it, but I've encountered a couple military people, and they're not having it.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Well,
that is sad.
Well, no, it's not sad. It shows that somebody actually has a sense of morals and takes the fact that they swore an oath.
Let's put it this way.
You know,
Let's put it this
responsibly.
way.
That's good.
I don't
Let's put
think
it
it's
this
sad.
way.
I think what you're saying is that in your adult lifetime, because you're in the same odd space as me, in my adult lifetime, I've never seen the right get pushed far enough that they think, okay, this is no, like, there's always been this sense, like, for example, in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Teaching the American Revolution is a very interesting thing because, you know, here you are, you're usually a member of the church, and Christians are huge about, like, we believe in being subject to kings and principalities and presidencies and senates. Like, Christians we're not a protest church. You know what I'm saying? We hear that all the time in the church at large. We're not a protest church. Right. And also within, like, Mormonism specifically, for example, you hear a lot of examples of, like, hey, you know, we're here to help government, not to oppose government, right? But teaching the American Revolution is very interesting because it's like these men we revere were the ones that rose up and said,
Yes,
screw
sir.
government,
Yes,
right?
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so literally within the American heritage or the citizenship and the nation merit badge, there's this line that says, like, one of the number one things this merit badge will teach you is that there is a constitutional method to affect positive change in your society. And you need to find out what that method is, and we're going to try and teach you what it is. And it's usually peaceful protest, signing petitions, going to city council meetings, you know, and being a good boy. Well, in our entire adult lives, being a good Boy Scout has kind of worked, but it's worked less and less and less and less and less and less every year. And you're going to reach that point that JFK talked about where he said, like, basically, if positive constitutional change can't proven to be effective, then violence is inevitable.
Doesn't it say in the Constitution that we have a duty? We have a duty for removing illegitimate.
Well, at least in the Tom Clancy movies, it does.
Well, hold on. I have a,
And when I want to go back to is the fact that these people that I've met that's in the military, okay, they were Marines. 3 different occasions, 3 different events, and one was on the airport going to D.C. The same conversations were being had. That, yeah, I appreciate you wearing the hat. I appreciate you doing your thing out here, you know, on the streets or at an airport. And I said, thank you, I appreciate you. What's your odds? What do you think? 50-50, 60-40, 80-20, blah, blah, blah. And then they always end off like this. I'm letting you know right now, if they steal this election in front of God and country, I'm a Marine and I know my old guys in the unit, and we're not taking this crap.
Yeah,
And I've had that 3 different times with 3 different Marines in 3 different events, and one was on an airport to catch my flight to go to DC. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting a lot of that too, and that's something that needs to be talked about because, you know, when you have the faith of an election stolen from you, right?
Yeah.
What would people do? Because we've, you know, the silent majority has been silent. We've came out and we supported the president, and then now if you steal this election from us, the sleeping giant. When he wakes up, it's something that you can't.
Yeah,
something you can't stop.
And that I think all of us actually know that exact same feeling of, and I don't think the leadership is prepared. I said this long before. Unfortunately, we had a school shooting in my town, and I said our city leadership has not prepared for this sufficiently. This will come here. It's gonna happen, and these boneheads haven't prepared. And sure enough, unfortunately it did. And I said myself, like 5 years ago on a show, I said factional violence is coming to America.
Well, I'm not gonna say that.
And these idiot boomers are so used to being able to just push a corporatist agenda
Right.
and have a good law-abiding Judeo-Christian society just kind of take it, that I'm amazed we've gotten this far. I watched this hilarious show called Sleepy Hollow where like the supposedly like Ichabod Crane came back to modern times, you know? And I remember he walked in after having paid for an item and he says, "We had a Boston Tea Party over 0.5% excise tax on tea, and I just got raped 10%. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like we don't realize how far we've gotten pushed. In California, they're talking about having a 62% marginal tax rate. I'm sorry, that is worse than parts of France.
Come on now.
Yep.
Come
You
on
know,
now.
and so I do
Speak on
wonder. It's not going to be me, but I do wonder from conversations I've had with people.
Yes.
Where is that line? And I think we crossed it.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not saying I'm going to commit violence, but if they steal this election in front of God and country, I'm done.
I mean, you lose faith.
I mean-
this is the problem.
I'm being real.
Because you're going to lose faith within the institutions of the United States. If you lose faith in the institutions, you don't have a country anymore.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Exactly.
You know, everything fails. Why am I going to be a law-abiding citizen if it's obvious that being a non-law-abiding citizen works wonders?
Why would you be a law-abiding citizen when we were lawfully casting our votes
You
to
see what
elect
I'm
the
saying?
president of the United States, and you disregard that vote?
Right.
Just like remember back in 2016 when the Democratic the Democratic Party took away the superdelegates away from Bernie Sanders and
that's-
gave it to Hillary Clinton.
Look up videos.
Remember that?
of the Nevada, whatever they call it, like the Nevada
That's what you
Democratic
guys want?
Convention. People
Democrats.
were throwing chairs, and the marshals had to escort people out because they were stealing it for Hillary in front of
see what I'm
Bernie.
saying?
And Bernie fans were throwing. But I have a question. What you guys talking about right here?
Yeah.
You brought it up before. Like if you go on Twitter and look about this bombing, you see MAGA terrorist is the trend for it. But what's curious is because that line of thinking there, that like, hey, if they steal this election, that kind of feeds into this talk of like
on.
MAGA terrorists.
Well,
Like, it kind of
yes,
goes from both sides. You see what I mean?
That's
So-
my
I
concern
think
about it
that's
because I
very
think, well, then
interesting.
they get what they want.
And they'll paint it as the
You know,
the narrative
yeah,
they
and it's like,
want.
well, you can't do it because then they get what they want.
Right.
But
And
at the
if you
same
don't do
token,
anything-
I'm not seeing another way.
Right. You're like
You
backs
know?
up against the wall type of thing.
But what's fascinating with stuff like this, though, is I'll put this in words. People could say that kind of being talk. I'm saying you guys are. People can be all talk, but the thing is, they can utilize the all talk the same as the action. Some guy could blow up his building for insurance scams, and they could say, "See, look what the MAGA people are doing." Like I think it's an interesting position because there's a lot of energy. A lot of people feel like Trump's going to win. There's a lot of fervor for it. People just feel like it's going to happen. And those talks like, "What if it doesn't?" It is creating a really interesting circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're
you
seeing
know
a lot
what?
of people just jump to these.
I like how we're talking about
True
this right
that.
now because it just reminded me about the
that.
event that happened in Oregon.
Okay.
Do you remember the event that happened in Oregon just a couple days ago or maybe a week ago where they wanted to take back their capital and the police
Yes,
pretty
I do.
much said,
Oh, yeah, you're
blocked
talking
it
about-
off, blocked it off, said that there was a meeting or something, you can't come in, and they're peacefully protesting, right? And as soon as the event happens, it gets twisted saying that far right extremists heavily armed try to storm the Capitol. Wait a minute, I thought the Capitol was we the people.
Huh.
What do you mean we're storming the Capitol?
Right.
Well, that's true. And the thing is that it depends on who's reporting. A bunch of protesters peacefully assembling, walking into the cupola and the reception area of a state capitol isn't, storming the
Right.
Capitol. Okay.
See,
You know what I'm
different.
saying?
It's
This
wording.
isn't D-Day.
It's wording.
But I do remember that was a specific time when skirmishes did break out. There was the first time that you actually had bear mace getting directed towards cops by a group that could be considered right wing.
You talking about
There's
the
always
Oregon?
the left wing is always trying to blame violence on
Are
the
you
right
talking
wing,
about Oregon?
and then and
They pepper spray the police?
Yeah, there's a specific instance.
Oh,
Well,
I
it's
didn't know
because
that.
what people don't realize now, and Tim Pool was talking about this, is that it's the police that are getting called by all of these leftist, psychotic Democrat mayors like
got it.
Eric Garcetti and Bill de Blasio, who's literally saying our goal is to redistribute wealth. And then Eric Garcetti's like literally, as honestly, comedian Andrew Schultz said, acting like a 1980s movie villain and filling the skate parks with sand. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right,
I
yeah.
mean, the people that are destroying businesses and taking away people's livelihoods right now are Democratic mayors.
Got it.
And
Yep,
they are
100%.
the only reason they're able to do this is because they're sending police out. And where the police can't, fortunately, Californian sheriffs are leading the charge on
Yes,
non-enforcement.
yes.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, it's not the
Riverside,
city of
Orange
LA.
County,
Let me tell you,
LA,
Mike Moore,
everybody.
he's my freaking uncle, and he's a lapdog for Garcetti. All right, you know what I'm saying? But that guy out in San Bernardino,
No.
Are you kidding me?
Forget about it.
Oh, dude, he's like saying, screw you. I'm not doing this unconstitutional stuff. So I really think more cops and more chiefs of police need to grow stones and say, I am not going to enforce your unconstitutional lockdowns. Okay, because if not, what's going to happen is the police are going to be put in a situation. What are the police going to do when all of a sudden conservatives don't support you? You don't got a lot of friends left, bro. You don't got senators that want you.
All it takes, though, for that's scary, and no offense, all it would take for that to flip, if the left started to defend the police, the kind of reactionary instincts of the conservatives would just be like, fine, police are bad then, state's bad. State's bad, state's bad, government's bad, police is bad. It's all bad. Like, it flips fast.
That's why, as soon as you started going that way, I knew where you were getting at, because I agree. And that's the reason why I brought up Oregon, too, because I was looking at it and I'm going, okay, regardless of the fact, we've seen the left be anti-cop, anti-police, anti-establishment all year long. The right has had their back. And when I saw Oregon, them not letting them in the Capitol, it dawned on me, and I realized that there's going to be a moment, which we're talking about, that police need to stand, like you said, about not enforcing these unconstitutional orders, right? Yeah. Because if they don't, more events like Oregon will happen, and the right are going to choose a side where, you know what, we backed you, but you're not going to, because I know this for me personally, I will back the blue 110% until they are in the middle of me, we the people, and our country. As soon as they get in that way, then I'm not backing the police.
I believe in the 3 strikes policy. You know what I'm not
Give them 3 strikes.
Well, I mean, the reality is police are the enforcement arm of the state.
You got it.
That's why they exist. They exist because whose laws are you breaking? Is it our laws, the citizens? No, it's the state's laws.
Yeah.
And they implement them. That's why it's interesting. But just that idea of like, I wonder, do you think it's an if or an inevitability when the thin blue line flags come down kind of at these rallies? You know what I mean? Is it a meh, if things get bad, maybe, or is it just getting to the point where it's like, I mean, if the police just keep siding with the government against us, how long can this go on for?
How long? Exactly, and that's what it is. That's why, like you said, the police need to make that choice. Because as soon as if we keep going down this road, you're going to lose the right too. The right's had you back for a while,
and that's also another reason why it's like people really never understand politically where I am. They think just for this one moment in time, I'm on this side of the aisle on a certain issue. That I must have been there forever. My family, I have family members that were arrested for crimes they didn't commit, and the stigma that came from that, from a corrupt cop behaving badly, took 14 years in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that went all the way to the Supreme Court with my family.
Sheesh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know better than anybody how a corrupt cop abusing civil rights can destroy lives. Okay? And so I've always had a very nervous and precarious relationship with this thin blue line crowd because I view that all as just cultural battle. That's nonsense. Because to me, cops are tools. Just like, I hate it when people vilify guns. It's like, no, guns are tools. Okay, you need to vilify the human that decided to pull the trigger because that human's got a problem. All right. 100%. To me, cops are the tools of our Constitution, our society. If the freedom of my fist ends where your face begins, somebody has to be catching fists out there. Somebody has to be refereeing boxing matches.
You got it.
So, like, if these referees then become corrupt. Man, I got to tell you right now, at this slice of time in our society, cops, you guys don't have a lot of friends because 60% of America wants to straight up defund you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, speak on it.
And right now, you're in a very dangerous position. Right. These guys are getting punked and sucker punched in New York. They're getting ambushed in L.A. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Seth, like, and if the thin blue line crowd all of a sudden doesn't think you're going to support basic rights like being able to keep your business open, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then what friends do you have left?
Right.
But then what is the alternative? Just one thing I want to get you guys' thoughts on. I mean, like, inevitability, that would just lead to private security forces, kind of what we had before we had major police departments, like the Pinkertons and stuff.
I kind of think the Wild West might be a little bit better than what we got right now.
It wouldn't be the Wild West, though. It would be an employee of a corporation kills you, and all you could do is sue the corporation, and they could just kind of go through like legal loop blocks, which is what they used to do. Dude, there was a famous incident. There was a strike. I forgot where it was. At a mine. And so they had a bunch of Pinkerton detectives come and basically kill the striking miners. I mean, like, that's how we used to do enforcement. That's how the state used to get things done.
Sheesh.
That's the weird thing. It's kind of a catch-22 because, like you guys said, if the police are enforcing things they shouldn't and breaking the laws, how could you support them? But Is there an alternative besides some kind of private police force to it? Right? It's kind of a weird spot to be in.
No, and I agree, and that's why I really am uncomfortable with this spot that we're at right now, and that's why I view it as so dangerous, because I'm like, you know what? Where we are right now with the police department that has to go out and do things, but the ability to sue the police if they do something wrong, and if you got decent evidence, there's being a decent chance to win. Like, that's the best position that a citizen, an average citizen in a large superpower has been in 4,000 years. Romans didn't get this. I'm sorry. A perfect man, Jesus Christ, crucified by Romans. Sorry, there was no internal affairs that was looking into that. All right, you know what I'm saying? You look at the tragedies of the Indians during the Wounded Knee massacre. You look at what we did in the Trail of Tears. You look at the history of humans, and the average person's civil rights have never been so enshrined in written law like they have been in the Constitution, and the chances of enforcing those rights have never been so good for so many people as they have really in the past 50 years of the United States of America. And if we lose that, that is a massive step backwards for Americans, a massive step backwards. And part of that is dependent upon how we feel about cops.
Well, I really don't think that it will get to a point where the cops will separate themselves from the right, because a lot of the cops are of the right.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I mean? So it will get to the point. I mean, you already got the sheriffs bucking against the system. You already have that. Now, I mean, the police department got to catch up. They got to catch up, and I think it will come to a point where the police department will look, okay, enough is enough. We've been used as the political arm of the state, and we got to carry out these orders, which seem to always happen to be against the right.
Like, I'm not going to arrest some dude at a church for singing hymns.
You see what I'm saying?
Like, I'm
right.
sorry.
I'm just not doing it.
And cops, you need to literally just say that.
Right.
You need to just look at your boss. If he says, okay, the mayor says you got to go you got to go arrest the Second Baptist congregation.
Don't
of
erase
the
them.
Pastor.
Don't
and
erase
you're like,
them.
no, sorry, I'm not
not doing
arresting
that.
some
You're-
dude for singing a hymn.
You're missing.
All right.
You're leaving off half of that sentence, and this is what happens. Go arrest those people, or I find someone who will. That's the problem,
No,
dude.
I'd be like,
we're not
fire
talking
me,
to
dude.
every human. Fine, they will fire you, and they'll go put open calling out. They'll find people who lost everything in COVID, hire them as police enforcers.
And
to
you
come
know
and
what?
arrest
You know how that happened? You know
Jeez.
when that happened?
What?
In Nazi Germany too. That's what happened. That was called the brown coats, right?
Yeah.
It's a bad sign when you're forcing people into unemployment to then hire them as enforcement for the
I'll
state.
tell you right now.
Right,
No,
right.
this is why I push back on that, though, Cody, because here's the deal. I have owned a
It
business.
happened in other countries.
No,
It happened in other countries.
let me tell
thing,
you.
dude. It happens.
These police, it is so impossibly difficult to find a good employee. I guarantee you a man moral enough to say I'm not going to go arrest Christians for singing has probably been a great employee that dude doesn't want to lose.
Dude,
so I
not
guarantee
about
you
that.
right
No,
now
Cardon,
he's like, crap, I don't want to
Cardon,
lose that guy.
do you know what the one thing police and military could do to like not do their job well?
What?
I believe it's insubordination. Their job is to follow orders. That's just the reality, dude. If someone's giving you orders, it's because your job is to follow them. It's not a suggestion. I'm not just asking if you can
And
do
a lot
me
of them are
solid.
former military too, and they've been brought up since 18 years old. Served 2 tours about being obedient, and following every.
Hey,
single
that's why I
order.
said these chiefs of police, man, they gotta. It starts from leadership,
Yeah,
dude.
it does.
It does.
It
It
does.
really
And
does.
that's why I got
It starts
respect
from
for the guy.
leadership.
It's like, dude, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Go pound sand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But
And it's
I
like,
think
all right.
At that point in time, it just becomes a civil war. Once the police start bucking against the system and there is no support anywhere, and they have, like you said, they have to hire outside entities to come and now be the police because all the police are let go, then the police that were let go, they're going to become patriots. It's going to become a civil war. It's going to get nasty. It's going to get ugly before it gets better.
Yeah, that's why I say that the police they need to understand who's been backing them for the last year.
Not
They better
civil
remember.
war. It will be factional violence. We're not going into a civil war. And
You don't
I
think so?
completely
But
no,
dude,
like a civil
factional
war was
violence
literally
inside of a border is civil
That's
war.
a civil war. Yeah.
Like
Okay,
people
no,
from
but
different
there's
groups
not-
fighting inside of one body for control of the body is what you call a
Guys,
civil war.
okay,
Yeah.
hold on. No, a civil war is when like
North and the South.
we literally no
In the United
during the
States?
Civil War there was a confederacy of states who wholesale through
Cardon,
written rejections.
You're leaving a word out. You're talking about the American Civil War, not what a civil war is.
No, I
The
know
American
general.
Civil War is a
Okay,
historical event,
We're
which
never going
was
to reach
that.
a point in which whatever insurgency is organized enough that it can be considered large enough to be on the scale of war. To me, it thinks you have to have such a disrespect
Cardon,
and a
that's not what a
non-understanding
civil-
of the
sorry,
term war.
No, but Cardon, a
It
civil
will be
war
factional
is
violence.
No, it's 2 groups fighting for control. If those two groups are the Republicans and the Democrats,
Boom.
If it's the corporatists and it's the populists,
Boom.
whatever it is, it's two groups fighting for
Opposing
control. I think
each other.
your mind is fixated on American Civil War battles. Dude, there's a lot of civil wars that are closer to coups where nothing
giving
happens.
Too much power to the word. I'm with Jody Ernst, where she
Okay,
says
you know what? It doesn't matter.
war on women shows that you
just
do not
doesn't
have an
matter.
understanding of the term war. Right? It will be factional violence. That's what we're gonna call it.
I don't believe so.
I
believe
don't
it
call
was-
every Antifa guy a terrorist. I think that's overreach. It's overreach. Though it might fit a technical definition somewhere, it's a state crime of localized violence that needs to be handled by cops that aren't pussies.
I have a question, Cardon.
But
Is gang war a misnomer, or can small gangs have wars?
Yeah, that's a good example. Is
That was a
gang
re-
warfare
wow.
civil
That
war?
was
Yeah.
that was
Is
quick.
gang warfare
That was
civil
quick.
war?
Yeah.
No, I would say that gang warfare is not civil war.
No, dude, I'm not saying civil war.
Okay,
I'm just
it
saying
is
it's
factional violence.
Oh my God, Cardon!
by
you
non-state
are-
actors.
This is a weird semantic argument. Civil war literally is defined by two groups fighting for control of something from within it. So it's like it doesn't matter
Okay,
if it's
fine.
100
You
people or
win.
100.
You want to know why you win? Because you control the microphone.
Well, no, but just but
Hey,
the
no,
only
hold on one
reason-
second, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the conclusion of the debate.
Ding. You know what I'm saying?
But the only reason why I say that is because, well, yeah, we're not going to get into big widespread, but to Stephen's point and stuff,
Right.
like the idea of two groups
Yes.
struggling for control of this country is very real, and I
Yes.
wonder if that
No,
And
it's
resorting
going on
to
right
violence.
now, though.
Exactly.
It's going
Yes,
on
right,
right
yeah.
now.
it has been for years almost, really.
The whole Biden and Trump is literally America against special interests. I mean,
exactly.
And this is what I worry about when you do talk about your civil war, Cody, and I'll even use your semantics. Is I really wonder, Biden is going to have to say no to any violence, and he's going to have to do it hard.
Yeah, he is.
Because if Antifa all of a sudden feels as emboldened as they did during the Obama years, that it's okay to just go out, and if he behaves like Portland's mayor, basically
Yeah.
trying to become friends with him,
Right.
saying, "Oh, Antifa's
Summer of
just
love.
an idea," they are gonna go knucking fucks.
no. He's
Yeah.
gonna have to refrain from that whole Antifa's an idea
Yeah.
if he does get in, because he's gonna have to check the idea. He's gonna have to bring
Right.
police officers to the idea,
Right.
and bring in National Guard to stop the
idea.
idea.
Of
okay?
course, yeah. Well, did you see the latest Biden leak behind the scenes talking with more black leadership?
Oh yeah,
Let's
I shared it.
go.
I shared,
What happened?
I
When he
shared it. I
told
shared
them-
it on my story. This is hilarious.
yeah.
What
he goes,
happened?
it sounds the most racist thing I've ever heard in my
It
life.
really did. I was like, oh my God, this is shocking when he was saying it.
Here we go. Here we go with
He
Joe.
tell him.
goes, the demographic is very simple, basically. And he said, I'm paraphrasing for the fact checkers. Please don't fact check me.
He said, "Like we are doomed."
Yeah, he goes, and you know what? In the future, 60% of this country will be Caucasian or something. So that means y'all gonna be outvoted, and you guys gonna have to work with the Hispanic community. Like it was, and I'm sitting here like,
No, he literally said, "We are doomed.
Yeah.
That Caucasians are going to be a majority minority population.
Something like that.
They
I'm
will be the
paraphrasing.
minority soon, and you will be outpaced by Latinos, and you will all of a sudden have to start getting angry at Latinos, who will be 60% of
Yeah.
the
Sorry, I
controlling
got the numbers mixed
population,
up.
Oh my
and you
God.
race
will
war,
be the
race-
minority
race-
group."
race baby.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Race
basically
baby.
said you will be the third in line for goods and services now instead of second in line.
But I wouldn't.
And
I-
he's savage. Can we
Listen,
pull that up? Also,
I-
Oh, let's do that.
I at the same time, I mean, I don't. This doesn't surprise me from a man that actually spent his time at a eulogy of a former Klans
Byrd,
member,
yeah.
Robert Byrd, running around holding his hand, campaigning with him
Come on now.
at his funeral, along with Hillary Clinton,
As Lucas always says, Jim Crow Joe.
Jim Crow Joe.
Come on now.
I don't put that past him at all. Like when I saw that, I saw it and I just go, of course he said that.
I'm not surprised.
Of course he said that.
Of course.
You guys want to see a
black
great
people
You
fact?
ain't
wanna-
black.
But black people.
I mean, come on now. You can't get more basic than that. You really can. There you have it. What did you expect from Joe Biden? You ain't black. You gonna get that. This is what you're gonna get.
That's what you're
This is what you're gonna get. I'm
Why-
not surprised.
Why do you think we're here right now?
Yes.
Why do you think we're here right now?
Yes.
Oh my god.
This is what, and this is just so sad is people can't see this.
Oh,
They
speaking
couldn't
of
see
that,
this.
whoa! I got to talk about this while you're bringing it up.
Okay.
Since black people want to vote for Joe Biden so much,
Yeah.
and they were pushing him for so much,
Yeah.
even though he has his history, which we talked about and linked on this show, being racist. But I loved when Trump came out about the stimulus, and he made his talk saying, you know what, the American people get $600. Illegal immigrants get 1,800, which is literally 3 times as much as American
Do the
citizens.
math.
Yeah.
And he named off all the money that's going to foreign governments. He said 1.4 billion to Asia, 1.3 billion to Egypt. Don't fact check me. I'm paraphrasing. 500 million to, I forget, Sudan or something like that. I don't know. Pakistan, gender reveal
Special
programs,
interests,
just crazy stuff, right? And it's all, in the name of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So Trump gets on there and he goes, you know what? It's unacceptable. All these things going to foreign lands. It ain't going to happen. Illegal immigrants can't get more than the Americans,
Yes.
which is, common sense. And so he said, you know what? We want 2,000.
Yeah.
Right? Let's bump it up to 2,000.
Yeah.
Send it right back to the House. I want 2,000. The Democrat leaders in unison, I'm talking Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer,
Speak on
AOC, Ilhan Omar, all of a sudden started getting tweets out, oh, of course we could do 2,000. Oh, finally the president wants to give us a number of 2,000. We're ready to go right here on the floor. But wait a minute, weren't you the guys the ones that stonewalled before the election for the COVID relief fund? Weren't you guys the one that didn't want to pass it
Let's go.
until after the election? And weren't you the ones that actually gave up the, hey, this is 600, take it or leave it.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden you guys want to switch up because you guys put you guys on blast.
Exactly.
That's what happened. And as
Exactly.
soon as that happened, oh my goodness, Mr. Jim Crow Joe and all his followers, including Black America, all of a sudden now wants Trump back in office. Did you see that? Did you see that? It was Black Twitter going viral. I'm talking about.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Oh, Twitter went viral. They went viral saying that they want Trump back. Black America. Black
Get
America.
out. What?
It went viral. Everybody, Black America on Twitter literally went, wait a minute. Biden wants to give me 600. Trump wants to give me 2,000. Recount them votes.
Come on now.
He said, wait a minute. Trump trying to give us 2,000. The election was fraud. Bring my boy back in.
Tried to tell you.
Oh, Trump want to give us 2,000, but we voted for old Joe?
Yeah.
I mean, it went crazy.
See,
So
there you go.
we're talking about Biden right now and his racist past and how Black America
Okay, you
wants
gotta
to be.
watch this. I know he's got it pulled up.
Well, just
If we gotta watch. I just had to
This
say
will
that.
blow your
Black
mind.
America wants Trump back.
Yes,
Okay,
indeed.
there you go. We're
Yes,
done.
indeed.
But I think
We're
it's because Trump, despite what people said about Trump, this video clip about the play, I don't remember Trump saying anything like this, so we'll run this.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
Dude, the way he says that at the end.
And you guys, like he sounds
people.
literally like I mean,
Yeah, you people. Don't them. You know them with the dark skin complexion.
and he starts out by saying like this country is doomed. What? By the blacks or the Hispanics,
Right,
bro?
pick
Like
one.
what?
Pick one. I can't wait for you to tell me that one.
I don't know
Down,
which is
Joe.
more racist, dude. Like,
Oh
I
my
speak Spanish.
gosh.
I'm fine with the 60% Latino
Oh, you
community.
good.
They love me, dog.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
that's a good
Damas y
point.
caballeros, me quieren a mí. Okay, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
a great point. Who does he mean that the country's doomed?
Yeah.
Who is he saying that?
Pick one.
Who is making the country doomed?
one.
Which one? I gotta know.
Oh,
Joe,
Joe,
tell
I
us how.
gotta know, Joe.
Joe, how's the country being doomed? Which one of us are
So
dooming the
it's
country?
worse. Like, so first off, he goes full blown white supremacist racist and says we are doomed, and then specifically names 2 ethnicities that are not white. So okay, so
One of
great.
us.
He just literally
One
pulled
of
a
us.
Richard
One of them
Spencer
gotta
on steroids. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
So
just the end, the way at the end he says that, where it's like,
Well, and
you
then-
all better do this.
Yeah,
It's
man,
like,
like,
what are you
what?
talking about? You all? What is this?
Hey, Joe.
Oh, just one thing I want to show you guys.
one of us
thing,
gotta
too.
go. One of us gotta go. I don't know who it is, but one of us gotta go.
On this topic, I wanted you guys to take a look at this. So this was a fact check by Reuters. I love this fact check. It's from a few months ago. So check this out, guys. Can you see it on the screen?
Okay, yeah.
Let's see it. So this is fact check. Robert Byrd eulogized by Joe Biden. He was not a KKK Grand Wizard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
However, hold
Recruiter?
on. Hold on. Let's go through and see what Reuters found.
yeah, let me guess.
we go.
They found, hold on a second, he was unanimously named an exalted Cyclops, which meant that he was the top officer in the local clan. However, it's false to say.
I can't anymore. I just
This is the guy. He recruited 150 people to form his own chapter, which they named him the Exalted Cyclops of. But don't worry, this guy had no idea what he was doing, and Joe Biden calling him a great man at his funeral had nothing to do with any of this.
no. Unbelievable.
I mean, listen, no, guys. MAGA Hulk, he benches at least 350,
Yes.
but Reuters fact checked me and said he benches 400.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys.
You're wrong.
We're
You're
so sorry.
Clearly wrong.
Sorry for being fact checked.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
That's how
Guys,
arbitrary
we
this is.
literally just elected. Think about this. We elected not the dude that put kids in cages to exchange him for the guy that built the cages.
Yes.
And out of a concern for racism, we literally just replaced, all right, the guy who funded historically black colleges and universities for the dude that just chastised them, speaking like, I mean, I don't know how else to say this in a non-racist manner, but speaking like a man that ran a plantation.
Tell it.
You're like, you guys better get in
Hey,
line.
you.
Because there's other minorities around here. Say that with a southern accent, and you literally sound like not Barry Goldwater. Who is that horrible freaking governor of Mississippi that was like, I can't, George Wallace? Yeah, like, I mean, like, I don't know how more. When Andrew Schultz says that Eric Garcetti is playing an 80s movie villain by filling in skate parks with sand, I don't know how worse to describe Joe Biden's leaked audio than just like an 1827 plantation owner yelling at staff. What?
Staff? You said staff?
I don't know how you euphemize it. I don't know how you euphemize that. You know what I'm saying?
You say slaves, but you had to say
Just
staff.
No, I'm saying that's what he would like euphemize it
Right,
as.
right,
you know
right,
what I'm
right.
saying?
Talking
It's just
about
like,
staff.
what?
Unbelievable. This is so crazy. This is so
bad.
It really is. And people voted for this. People actually voted for this man. I mean, not at the rates. You know what I'm saying?
They said he got more votes than Obama.
Right.
Jeez.
Right.
Okay.
Which Obama's been curiously quiet about. You think he
He
congratulated?
Oh yeah, he hasn't said one
He hasn't
word.
said a
That's a good point.
Oh, and by the way,
That's
look at
very
how,
true.
play this last 5 seconds of leaked audio, Cody, and look at how he just gets up at the end of this audio. He just straight up disrespects these people. That's
You
the other
guys
thing.
are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population. Y'all do.
Oh, dang it. They stopped it in that
White
article
European.
there. But he literally gets up, like, and everybody there's like trying to say, oh, well, thank you for coming, as he's like walking off screen.
He always does that.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he
So it's
forgets
like
where he's at,
disrespect.
probably.
And you're going to tell me that this is the guy who's going to heal race relations in
Right.
America?
He's a champion of the black community.
And you're telling me that, he wants to do healing?
Oh, God,
when all the
give me a
leaked
break.
audio shows him berating all of the racial leaders.
And then giving them the deuces. Getting off camera. I
Peace.
don't want to hear
Mic drop.
anything you have to say. I'm going to say my piece and I'm gone.
No.
That's disrespect.
No. It's you know what? I'm gonna show you guys my true racist colors. Mic drop. I'm done.
Exactly.
I'm out.
See, got played. I'm trying to
Hey.
tell you. Got played. We said this last week. We're going to say that. We're going to keep saying it. BLM, black community, you got played by this man.
Oh, let's talk about that because Black Lives Matter is kind of angry at
They're very angry.
Biden now.
very angry.
So we kept talking about it. Haven't we been talking about this even on this show,
Yeah.
even in the streets?
Yeah.
Remember when we used to do debates with other people and stuff like that?
Yep.
We said BLM is going to get played.
You got it.
That's why we're not BLM supportive.
Right.
It's because we know the agenda. We know what it's going, what the agenda is. And we kept saying over and over again,
Yes.
BLM, you're going to get played.
Yes.
We kept saying that the donations kept going through
Yes,
Act Blue.
yes.
Over $1 billion was raised
I'm gonna need you to
through
please,
Act
please.
Blue. You actually look it up. $700 million went to the Joe Biden campaign. Okay, from Act Blue. So that's where your money went. It's not going to rebuild your houses. It's not going to
Nope.
give you a college education. It's not going to give you a new
Ain't going
business.
to help
None
your
of that.
communities, nothing
But
like
now,
that.
since Biden is office, a president-elect, right, office. Black Lives Matter put up a fist and said, we won. We won.
Yeah.
Black America won. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. That's wonderful. Great for y'all. Okay, so now 30-something days go by.
Ain't got to see it at the table.
Has Biden hit you up? No, you're actually complaining, saying that the Biden administration is ignoring you. So mean to tell me you didn't get none of those donations.
Huh.
Mean to tell me you were in the streets all year.
Huh.
making Black America look bad.
Absolutely.
Just keeping it real.
Thank you.
It didn't help you. Didn't give you a business, college education, none of that. And politically wise, you're trying to get a political goal in front. Biden is ignoring you.
Can't even get a seat at the table.
Well, and here's the sad thing. I just looked this up, but funding for HBCUs, I just looked up, historically Black colleges and universities, that apparently this year was when U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos announced $1.4 billion in additional funding being directed towards minority-serving institutions, including historically Black colleges and universities, so on and so forth. $700 million is exactly half of $1.4 billion. That means via Act Blue, away from the Black community and into the Democrat Party's hands, has just gone half the budget that is funding, functionally, half of all of the tribally controlled colleges and universities, minority-serving institutions, and historically Black colleges and universities. Like, that's the worst pathetic part of this grift. Was that think how much, like, you literally donated away to Black Lives Matter. And sure, a lot of it was just corporations, and a lot of it was just, rich white people from the northeastern seaboard who were bored.
Want to get in.
Yale and Harvard were closed.
Yeah. Want to get in.
Yeah, they were buying indulgences.
Make a quick extra buck,
But I mean, that is one of the most difficult grifts. And okay, and this actually leads us in a segue into Emmanuel Macron. Okay. Yeah.
Last little thing I want to say. I want to see you guys' points on this too. When I saw all that money going to Black Lives Matter, I think $1 billion at one point, dude. Whenever I see that,
with a B,
people with power and money, they see the little people, just throw a bag of money at them, they'll kill each other for the money. You can ignore that.
They'll kill each other fighting over the money.
They'll tear each other over that bag of money, man. They won't even do what they're doing anymore. And I wonder how much, because you notice organized Black Lives Matter stuff, they're getting kind of the cold shoulder, but yeah, dude, since they've got all this money given to them, I don't see it anymore.
Even the local chapters actually came out, and there was a news article about it, how they were getting mad at the national organization, BLM, because they're saying we're not properly funded. Where's all the money? We know all the money came through, but it's not coming down to the local. It's not trickling down to the local chapters. And so again, they're infighting itself right there. And at that, now you see Biden don't even want to take a call with you guys. Why? Because one, he's not the president elect. Two, if he wasn't going to help you out.
Exactly.
And three, you played yourself like we've been telling you since day one.
Supposed to be fighting over the bag of money, not protesting against me. That's basically their stance on it.
So, we got two last things that we got to cover that are just kind of, some would call them special interest. I call them hilarious. But literally, what Biden's doing right now is actually really reminiscent, at least to me, of what Emmanuel Macron is doing in France.
Okay.
I remember when he ran.
No, this guy's crazy.
This
little diminutive dude is crazy. Okay.
Something.
Apparently, in 4 different speeches over the past 3 or 4 years, Cody, he has compared himself to 4 different Greek gods.
3 gods. The gods that he's referenced are.
I remember that.
Mars, Minerva, and then the big one was Jupiter. He said he planned to have a Jupiterian reign.
I remember that.
No, and this is his Jupiterian thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say he's literally so angry at radical Islam and the violence thereof and the public outcry that he is now requiring, all right, kind of like we have articles of faith in, I guess, the Mormon church, and there's the Pledge of Allegiance. He's creating, what's it called? A French values charter?
Some is going back to beginning of December, but yes, and in reference to multiple different attacks Emmanuel Macron has put forward what he's calling the French Values Charter. It's kind of like a...
So if you're going to be Muslim in France,
you
have to sign on to a French Values Charter that supports their, quote, Republican ideals. And it's got even other asterisks, like, I don't think you can be a legit imam there unless you have, a French university degree now. They've bureaucratized Islam, you know what I'm saying? And you got to, swear allegiance to them now.
Well... Do you want to hear... Just to get into the interesting part of it, because there's the first layer, but listen to this, you guys.
By a guy who thinks he's a god.
No, but check this out. Someone pointed this out, which is interesting. This is a quote from a man named Olivier Roy, or Olivier Waugh, I don't know, who's an expert in French Islam. Said, "You are obliged to like the laws of the state," he told me, "but you are not required to celebrate its values. You cannot discriminate against LGBT, for example, but the Catholic Church is not obliged to accept same-sex marriage." Part of what these restrictions were also was some of the more anti-progressive elements of a fundamental faith were being specifically targeted on the one faith stepping out of line. Whereas the Catholics, they can kind of keep doing what they're doing with like gay marriage and stuff. But you guys, it's very interesting.
What is going on?
So
man?
I mean, I hear you got.
This is the same Macron I remember when he was running 4 years ago, right? That reportedly the girlfriend that he's with or the woman that he's with was actually his teacher when he was a kid.
Wait,
I
shut
think
up.
that's the same one. Can you please
Cody's
look that
nodding
up?
his head. What? Is this true?
Is this?
Am I right? Is that the same Macron? Because I remember 4 years ago when he was
Biden
running.
screwed his wife like that too.
Listen to this. According to Wikipedia,
here we go.
Brigitte Marie Claude Macron is the French school teacher who's the wife and former teacher of Emmanuel
What is
Macron.
the year? What is the years? What are the years difference? What are the years difference? What are the years difference?
Let's
Hold
see,
on. What's the year difference?
She's 67. He is 43.
Oh, Macron, what?
Whoa,
Macron, what?
dude.
What is going on?
Dude, and
That
Joe
Macron.
Biden did the same thing though. Cody, wasn't it? Like, was it? Was it?
Yeah.
He did
Jill
not marry his
Biden's-
former school. That's the weirdest thing I've ever read. Former teacher and current wife. It's just such a weird, weird.
She was like 20-something years old when he was born.
No.
Right? Yeah, I remember that when in 4 years when Trump was running, I remember Macron was running, and I looked at everything that Macron was doing because of U.S. relations, and I remember specifically he married his school teacher that is like 20-some years old older than him.
Well, when you're a Greek god, you can do those things. Come on, man.
You could just pull your teacher like that.
I literally slapped my
Dude, and so this is my question. How soon until Joe Biden starts? Hey, she looks good for 60-something while he's 40-something. Wow.
her face-
She's probably bathing in,
oh my God.
I don't know. Her face looks
I'm not trying to get
photoshopped on this
deleted.
body. It doesn't even look like it's actually
looks
her.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's just like so much makeup and cosmetics.
yeah.
So how
Yeah.
soon until Joe Biden starts comparing himself to Greek gods?
Hey.
Because he's already
delusional. He's already delusional. It's coming around the corner.
He's already talking to minority groups as though
I know, right? True.
they're the problem.
He's well
We're
on his
doomed.
way.
He's already got a megalomaniacal complex going on. Like literally Macron and Joe Biden are like buddies because also don't forget Biden stole his current wife from his ex-campaign manager.
Whoa,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
now?
There was come on, what was that dirt, Cody? I can't remember, but it's like
Jill Biden?
yeah, Joe Biden is Jill Biden's round 2. And it was vicious. He pulled like a Gavin Newsom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude.
No,
these
that,
people.
no, that is vicious. If you pull Gavin Newsom,
Oh, we got to look
you a
this
cold
up.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
You a cold one.
Okay, so
Oh,
I remember
wow.
reading an article that like Jill Biden's ex-husband like did this whole rant. Yeah,
Yes,
Bill.
ladies and gentlemen, we fact check ourselves on the show.
Yeah.
We don't need any fact
Yeah,
check.
look,
help.
here it
We
was.
totally
The
do.
ex-husband of Joe Biden's wife claims the two had an affair and that Joe was cheating on, or that Jill was cheating on with Joe and so on and so forth. Yeah, dude.
What about when the media insisted that all of us know our place and refer to her as Dr. Jill Biden because she's so much better than us? Do you guys remember that?
Oh, really?
Like a
now?
week ago. Everybody, dude, what scared me, it wasn't even just journalists. It was like random people on like social media were like, yeah, how dare you not call the president's wife doctor? It's like, don't you know how weird that is, dude? Like insisting I call the president's wife a it's like, what's his name? Making you salute the horse. You know what I mean? It's like, why do I have to do this? Why can't you just be the president's wife?
Thank you. But that's, of course, when it comes to liberals, this is what
No,
has to
they
be
don't
done.
mind doing that to Melania though.
Exactly.
You're allowed to be the
Oh.
you're the dumb slut that married the
Exactly.
big tyrant. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're the dumb slut that, you're just an underwear model.
Yeah, yeah.
But Jill Biden, we better call her
Bow.
doctor.
We bow.
And everybody and their dog knew that Michelle Obama had 2 degrees. Everybody and their dog knew that Michelle
Thank
Obama
you.
had 2 degrees, but nobody knows that frickin' Melania speaks like 7
different
languages.
languages. Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
saying, like-
Yeah.
And Trump even
telling you.
retweeted this little tweet about like the Hollywood industry when it comes to women actually pretty much just didn't do any business with her the whole 4 years prior. She hasn't had any type of like real good Hollywood gigs when it comes to like fashion models and like front covers of certain
Oh no, they have
magazines.
absolutely ghosted her, and she has been an absolute class act.
Absolutely.
She look a lot better than Big Mike. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Mike.
She look a lot better than Big Mike.
That's wrong.
I was
Big
like,
Mike,
my
you
fault.
gonna do Big Mike?
I'm gonna do Big Mike like that. I'm gonna do Big Mike.
Now,
like
see,
that.
I think, unlike you disrespectful POS, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not politically correct.
I
sorry.
think all of the wives, to a certain extent, are off limits and should just deserve the respect of FLOTUS because this is a job that their husbands signed up for, and they're supporting their husbands as best they can. And so I've always felt uncomfortable with a lot of the jokes, the negativity that goes towards the FLOTUS folk. You know what I'm saying? And think that they all should just be given respect. And if it means, unless they of course go out of line to become such a public figure, and you know, to a certain extent, Michelle Obama, she probably did lose a lot of that corporate shield of like, I'm just the president's wife, I'm trying to say nice things.
How do you feel about Mr. Kamala Harris then?
What?
Mr.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The second man. What would that be? The wife, the husband of the vice president, if she gets sworn in, right? What would you think about that? It'd be because honestly, I have to be honest, man. The spouses of the people that rule over me, I'm glad they married him and they love them. But tell you what, I want nothing to do with these people. Don't shove them in front of me.
That's good. Too.
I don't care if it's Jill Biden or whatever Kamala's husband's name is. I don't even know who he is. Okay, like it's just like that's how I felt about all of them. That doesn't mean you should be mean to them, but I just kind of feel like who cares? They're literally just the spouse of the person who ran.
The first beta.
Yeah, whether
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Whether it's the husband of the vice president or the wife of the president, I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
True. I feel that.
Because I'm sorry,
We're
you
gonna
know
have
in
one.
Kamala's house. You know in Kamala's house.
You know
Wearing
who
the
runs.
pants.
You know who runs.
She got the pants on.
You know.
Pants suit, you know what I'm saying?
You know Kamala beats her husband up.
Oh, you better
You know
believe
she
it,
comes
you know what
home
I'm
and
saying?
she's angry and she
Yes,
takes a
indeed.
high heel off. And she says, get back in your room. Get back in your room.
okay. Well, how about speaking of Kamala? I got a question for you guys. You two. right
I'm
there.
talking. Excuse me. I'm talking.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Am I
supposed to
speaking?
sit here looking good and have a BMI less than 14.
Yeah.
Sit
Yes.
down and shut
Yes.
up while I do all the tweeting.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I have a question because obviously, if you can't tell, I'm white, so I wouldn't know. However,
I didn't know that.
Kamala Harris put a tweet out today, and she wished everybody a happy Kwanzaa because she celebrates Kwanzaa every year with her family. And I just want to know, do you guys believe that Kamala Harris actually celebrated Kwanzaa every year growing up?
She can't show a picture.
No.
I want the pictures.
Oh.
She put a video up today saying that our Kwanzaa celebrations are one of my favorite childhood memories. The whole family would gather around across multiple generations, and we tell stories and light the candles.
She
So,
a lie.
do you believe that?
She a lie. She was the same one smoking weed, listening to Tupac and Snoop. You know what I'm saying?
When
Calling.
Tupac
In a
wasn't
year
coming out
when
and
the
everything.
albums
Yeah,
weren't
when it wasn't
out.
even
Exactly. We're talking about this same Kamala right now. Oh, she a lie. She a lie. Goodness, I can't believe she fixed her mouth to say something foolish like that. Boy, I'm trying to say,
Fixed her mouth?
She fixed her mouth.
Fixed her
I'm
mouth?
upset. I'm upset, boy. I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, we need to calm down
gracious.
before Hulk actually smashes our
I'm gonna
studio.
smash this thing up.
We're gonna need donations. Everybody donate to the You Ain't
yes.
Black channel. Hulk just went on a
Dude,
rampage.
oh my gosh, here's probably the proof. I bet you if you look up that Kwanzaa menorah right now, I know it's not called a menorah, but with the candles on, I bet you that's this year's Amazon version thereof. Like
Oh,
we could
that's
actually,
good.
we could
I'll pull it up real
fact check
quick. I'll pull it up.
the
That's
Kwanzaa
good.
menorah. You know,
This is what we expect when it comes to Kamala. She's always virtue signaling. That's all
the
she's been
Kinara,
doing.
it's called.
From the moment she tried to run in that primary and she got eviscerated by
she
Tulsi.
did.
It was the Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah,
Tulsi Gabbard.
she destroyed her,
She
and all
destroyed-
she did was try to make a Hail Mary towards Biden about how he
That's
was racist
it. Yeah.
because that's the only thing she could do to survive. And
She was right? She was right too.
She was right.
100% right. There was no retort. She had no response to Tulsi absolutely gutting her like a fish on national TV.
Yeah, it
and
was
here
bad.
she is,
It was bad.
still trying to virtue signal. She goes on the Breakfast Club, trying to say that she was listening to Tupac while she smoked weed, because of course that's how you appeal to black folk. You appeal to black folk with weed. You know what I'm saying? And rap. You know what I'm saying? You black folk like
the most
rap.
racist thing ever said in
You
your life.
see what I'm saying? Like, how denigrated can you get? Oh, you black people like weed and rap, right?
I know y'all like Tupac, right?
Yeah,
y'all were big on Tupac.
Yo, you guys.
I
like
listen to Tupac.
Yeah.
Y'all smoke weed, so did I.
I did everything you did.
You want to
And I'm
smoke
black.
with me? You want to smoke
You
with
know
me?
what I'm
No.
saying?
Okay, all right, that's cool.
Unbelievable.
But can I get your vote? Because I smoke weed.
And now she has a wishing happy Kwanzaa, because this is something that she constantly does on a consistent basis, year after year,
I don't
celebrating
believe it.
Kwanzaa.
I don't believe it. I
Oh,
don't believe
give
it.
me a
I
break.
don't believe it. I don't believe it. What's the next one on the list? Go.
Well, actually, you know what's kind of sad is I looked up a Kinara, I guess apparently is what it's called. and they don't sell them. They only have 7 candle holders on Amazon.
Well, how about Kamala would
Only
shop
a couple
higher.
of people
You have to
on
look at
Etsy.
you have to look like Brooks
high
Brothers
class.
or something or whatever. But check this out,
What would her
guys.
handler do? What would her handler type
exactly.
in? That's
Think
what you
like
gotta
her
think. What's the
handler.
next one though? What's the next
Speaking of fact checking and Kamala, though, I love this. So the claim: Kamala said she listened to Tupac and Snoop Dogg while smoking weed in college. Just reading that, to your point, sounds so patronizing and terrible.
Right.
Despite graduating before their music careers. Like literally, she just pulled names. What are names?
Out of the
Tupac,
hat.
Snoop
Out of
Dogg.
the hat. Like when she was asked, so what do you think the greatest rapper alive? She said Tupac. Like, okay.
That's
She obviously has some information that we're not privy to.
That's a default answer. That's what it is.
Exactly.
That's what it is. What's the next one on the?
Well,
on the
actually, the last thing we're talking about and we're asking ourselves is the truth or untruth of
shifty shit.
how we got to talk to our all of our conspiracy laden friends
Yes.
during the holidays.
Yes.
And also, was Adam Schiff arrested or not arrested?
Man, I
all
wanna
right,
know.
because I saw the receipts on the LA County
Yes,
arrest
indeed.
records.
Yes,
I
indeed.
saw it, but I haven't seen any headlines, so I don't know what's going
It's going
on.
all over social media right now. They're saying that he got arrested. We don't know for sure. Obviously, there is
But
record
Cody
of his
knows.
name.
Cody
his
knows the
name,
truth.
His name is booked on LA County, right?
It's on LA County arrest record website. The only thing is that
No birth date though. No,
no,
general
it's
information.
got the name on it. The only thing is that it's led to a lot of controversy and drama. As far as I understand, I actually did a little bit of dealing with this stuff myself, working in local news and journalism myself. It's all that actually happened is somehow Adam Bennett Schiff, who exists in a bunch of county computers, got added to a list of people on the arrest records. There's no like what he was arrested for, where he was arrested. He's been tweeting apparently. I mean, as far as like him being under arrest in LA County, also it would be LA County. Like I'm pretty sure if you are trying to rig an election, they don't take you to LA County. Like
That's a good point.
like
That's a
like
good point.
it's the kind of thing people kind of like run with because oh my god, you can see Adam Schiff there.
I don't think it's
But
election fraud.
at the
It's got to be another Andrew Gillum, dude.
The
No,
other-
maybe-
that would get out. No, that gets out before the arrest record gets out because that's like somebody
Did
was.
he pull a Hunter?
I don't know, man. Are we gonna find
Yeah.
a laptop
But
of one
that's
of his
the-
secret lovers and a bunch of crack
Exactly.
pipes?
Yes.
That's the ultimate thing is whenever this stuff happens, dude, there's people there with phones when it happens, people there with phones who are part of the thing, people there with phones who arrest people there with phones and friends and social media who do the paperwork. Like, it leaks. Like, if somebody just found the name on a record, a name's on a record for some weird reason, it doesn't prove anything. For example, speaking of, like, remember when Roger Stone got arrested? There was like reporters at his house at 4 a.m. Like, trust me, dude. Like, when this stuff
That's
happens,
true.
people have a way of finding out and being there.
People are on the beat. Yeah.
Well, Roger Stone was always on the right side. That's why he got that publicity.
Oh, yeah.
If you're someone on the left side, there might be somewhat of a media
Oh, I see what
blackout.
you're
A little
because,
bit.
you know, you're on the left, not on the right.
But-
so that also does play out. But I understand exactly what you're saying. Is that you know what? There could have been something that happened. It could have been minor. It could have been, but at the same time, part of national security, right? They wouldn't tell us.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, what do you think?
We find out when hockey players get in bar fights, like the next morning. Like I think if the House Intel leader was arrested, we'd know.
I guarantee there's some kind of cool cover up, and we're gonna find out something crazy. Like, do you remember that movie Rat Race?
Cool, you guarantee it. Just remember that.
Got it on camera, man.
Do you remember Rat Race? I bet you it's something crazy. Like, what do you think Adam Schiff's insane vice would be? Like, you remember that movie Rat Race, where they got an escort to come to the door and they were betting on what's the craziest thing she would say yes to, and like the guy had to come to the door and say, "I'd like to smother my feet in peanut butter and bathe in a jacuzzi full of Pepto-Bismol," or something like Adam Schiff with those eyes, you know, he's got some real fetish.
He's into something. He's into something. Oh my god, those eyes. With okay, I'm not gonna say
He
because-
probably wants to, like, you know, have a hotel room full of goats belaying.
Hey,
you know what I mean? As he, like,
I'm gonna be
smokes
real with
weed.
you right now. A lot of people keep saying that these people in power do things with children. I'm telling you right now, if that guy with those eyes were anywhere near my children or anywhere in the facility in
Those
my
hungry
family,
eyes?
I'm running.
Yeah,
I'm not walking.
yeah.
I'm running.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, man.
And then what's with the other dude? What's his name? The Congressman Schwalwell.
Oh,
Swalwell.
Swalwell.
Yeah, he got caught with a Chinese
He's a
operative.
spy.
If there is any
Wait, what
more-
state is he from again? What state are both those politicians from again? I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Swalwell from.
No, Swalwell's from Northern California, bro.
He's
He's
from our
our boy.
Oh.
Swalwell's a Californian, dude.
With
Well,
a Chinese
they're all, like,
operative.
All the worst ones. Pelosi, Feinstein,
Yeah, yeah,
Schiff,
yeah.
Swalwell,
Newsom.
Newsom. Garcetti.
Yeah.
They're all ours.
Waters.
Golly.
They're all ours, dog.
And so you see that and you go, you know what? Trump was called a Russian agent for 4 years.
Yeah.
And during this election, there's evidence of China being involved in this election,
In
going towards Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a little Chinese operative sleeping with a Democratic governor. I mean, at this point, if you don't know what election meddling is, I don't know what planet you're on.
I don't know what to tell you.
And by the way, we need to redefine meddling too to include.
Yes, indeed.
Really makes you wonder what America does to other countries to screw with their elections. Because if other countries can do this to us, imagine the stuff we're doing to other countries.
Well, that's what we
Right,
did
that's
all
true.
throughout the Middle East. Remember, we were overthrowing countries, destabilizing regions, putting in dictators, secular countries just like Libya and Syria, literally
Gaddafi and all that.
Gaddafi getting overthrown, even though he backed with the U.S.
You
and
see what I'm saying?
turned on them. So I mean, we've done so much stuff. Like I get it, like at this point, a lot of people don't like the United States because of our past, but we're moving forward now. And the biggest problem is not Russia, it's not the Middle East, it is China.
Oh, yeah.
We all know it.
And if there's any more proof of this heinous alliance that we have between the DNC and our mainstream and legacy media environment, it's the fact that we had a diminutive little punk rich kid who basically got a foreign spy to bundle enough money for him to buy his way into the DNC. The same way Kamala was sleeping her way into the California DCCC, and sleeping her way to the top. He was bundling through a Chinese spy his way to the top, because let me tell you, that bro has zero merits to get where he's gotten. Like zero merits. Name one. Like at least Reagan was like a famous actor / amazing statesman. It's kind of like, I can see why California loved him enough to elect him as governor, and then I can see why America loved him enough to toss out Jimmy Carter and elect him as president.
Yeah.
We're getting to a point now where it's like, really? The guy on the intelligence committee is the dude that probably got picked last for dodgeball.
Right.
He's not particularly handsome. And at the ripe old age of 25, not having been some decorated colonel from the army, or, not some kind of dude that invented the app that saved youth from methamphetamines or something like that, he all of a sudden just kind of bursts on the scene. Why? Because he is. He is Eric Swalwell, don't you know?
Yeah.
And you look at him, you think, okay, cool, but why? Now I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now I get
know.
it.
Exactly.
Now we know.
I hadn't seen the middle photo here. Can you guys see that on the screen?
No.
Yeah, he
bring it
looks
up.
like a punk kid.
It's kind of hard, but like, dude, that's like him, and like that isn't just like, we ran into each other at an event. Like that's like one of those photo taking places where they have those like tarps behind you.
Right,
They're in like a tuxedo. Like that's weird. That isn't just like, hey, we're in the same room together. It's like they went to a place to take those photos.
He was bullied throughout high school.
He
And
looks like he was the
his,
bully.
and now that his schooling got him somewhere, he wants to literally stick it to somebody. That's what it looks like.
Well,
I look like
to a Chinese spy. You know what I'm saying? Golly.
All right.
apparently he was sticking a lot with that Chinese
apparently.
spy.
Goodness gracious! Look at
That's
this
just a
guy.
picture of him when he was younger with her at the diploma.
Doesn't he look like? Doesn't he look like he was bullied as a kid, and now that he got somewhere with his education, he's literally here to just screw America.
Dismantle America.
Dangerous
just wants to
conversation,
screw with
physiognomy there, of people, how they look and how they think.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, do I have anything else left to say before we finish this thing, baby? Anything else? Any other takers? Any burning questions?
No.
Okay, so what's the name of our show?
You ain't black.
Woo!
You ain't black.
And you ain't black.